Ask about what a bad boss looked like in their past and what a great boss looked like in their past. And here's why. My name is Mark Pettipaw, and I'm the CEO and owner of Mark Pettipaw Business Coaching. And today what I'm going to talk about is connection meetings. Have you ever had an awkward situation where your team seems to be shutting down in one-on-ones and you can't break through and they're not open to feedback? It's usually because you haven't had a connection meeting. That's a skill no one's training today. And I'm going to share the tips on how to create a really positive one so you can lead your team successfully in the future. So what is a connection meeting and why is it important? So a connection meeting is really establishing what I call an emotional bank account. And an emotional bank account is about deposits and withdrawals. When you think about an emotional bank account, think about a bank book when you had your first deposit. You opened a bank account, you were all excited. And I know there's a bunch of people under 50 going, what's a bank book? But bear with me. And your deposit was such a high moment. But if you started to take out a lot of withdrawals, you got pretty close to bankruptcy and having nothing in your account. And a leadership relationship is the same. And a connection meetings allows you to start with deposits by understanding the individual and going first. So when that tough day comes that you got to give some tough feedback, and that's a withdrawal, there's tons of trust in the emotional bank account and people are open to that feedback in your one-on-one. So that's a connection meeting. Now, how do you do that effectively and what's the process? Number one, the first thing you want to do is learn about a new employee's past. And why is that important? Twofold. You want them to come in with confidence that you understand the value they bring. So tell me about what you're most proud of. Tell me about what you're hoping to do with this organization. Tell me why you chose us. Tell me why your past is going to set you up for success. And that allows the person to communicate to you their value, which builds trust. You understand them. The biggest one I ask about the past, and if you're not doing this today, ask about what a bad boss looked like in their past and what a great boss looked like in their past. And here's why. You can stay away from the behaviors that they don't like, and you can go towards the leadership behaviors that they like because you know what puts them in the best condition to create that output. And that's important. And now you don't have the same errors of the past to damage the relationship where an employee will shut down in one-on-ones. So that's why the past is so important. The next thing that's critical when you are doing a connection meeting, it's your opportunity to ensure your team member understands the expectations. An interview is an interview. There's so many things a candidate's thinking about in an interview that they jump into the job and they think they know what they're accountable for. And then you start to have one-on-ones and they're failing and you're wondering why. If in that connection meeting, the next thing you ask is, tell me what you think my expectations of you and the role are, and they communicate what they are, you can reinforce it. Or if there's gaps, you can close them now and get on the same page so the one-on-ones are less sticky. You both understand what's expected to be done. They can ask questions in that safe connection meeting to say, oh, I've never done that. And you can provide some leadership and coaching to help them with that. And you can make that a focus in your first one-on-ones. So you really want to ask about the expectations of the role. The third most critical piece you want to talk about in the connection meeting is finding out where they want to go. Very few people are coming in the job to want to do the same thing every day. It's just the reality of today's workforce. There's too much multitasking in their personal lives going on that they want to come into work and push a button every day. And so how do you find out where they want to go so you can start to create that path for them and put that context into your one-on-one? What are those learning opportunities? So if they want to become a manager, as an example, what are the steps that they're going to need to learn to get there one day when they've been doing their day job? And now they're aligned saying, hey, my boss knows where I want to go. And it's going to take me some time, but we've identified some gaps and some things I can learn along the way so I can grow my skill set while I'm doing my day job. So identify those future goals and create that learning path. If you do those three things in a connection meeting, you're off to the races. It's going to make your one-on-ones way easier. Employees will quicker give you the feedback that they normally wouldn't so you could help them because there's trust in place and you'll grow your business results and your people. The way I talk about it in some of my training programs, it's imagine if you went to a party and you think about who you want to hang out with at that party. And you're introduced to someone and they say, oh, hi, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm fine. My name's Mark Pettipas. I was born in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Then I moved to Montreal. I went to high school in Montreal. Then I went to college. And then I went on. I worked at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. I opened a soccer stadium. And now I have my own business. You are getting out of that conversation quickly. You are taking your drink and you are going somewhere else. And when you think about the people you connect with in your life, both socially and professionally, it's because they understand you. And the quicker they understand you, the more they trust you and want to be around you and communicate with you. And you do that at a party by using inquiry, not advocating about your life. And that's where the connection meeting starts. It's finding out about someone so you can customize your leadership style to them so they trust and grow. John Maxwell has been talking about that for decades. Like, the sad part of our leadership environment and leadership inventory is we have way too many level 1 leaders. And a level 1 leader, according to Maxwell, is, well, I'll listen to you because I have to. And you have a title. But that's it. That's as much as you're going to get out of me, the bare minimum that you tell me to do. And by the way, the more you treat me poorly as a level 1 leader, the bigger chance I'm going to leave. And you're going to do it to someone else, and they're going to leave and churn and churn and churn and churn. So that aspiration to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, that's where things like connection meeting and dedicated leadership behaviors and servant leadership going first creates that level 2, 3, 4, and 5 leader. The development goal in a connection meeting, like, where do you want to go and what does life look like in a few years? So we don't lose sight of that. But I have a specific process called the professional development strategy. And that is where we literally sit down after you've proven you can do the day job, right? Because you got to do your day job if you want to grow and you got to produce results. Once I understand that, then we can start to talk about the learning gaps. And in that professional development strategy, which is the 4th step of my 5 behaviors in the servant leadership training program, we talk about where you want to go, and now we identify the gaps. Hey, to get there, boy, you need to learn how to coach people. And you've never done strategic planning. And I'm not sure you understand how our mystery shopping program is. And I don't think you've ever built a training program. And so we identify all those gaps that you need to become the manager. And now I give you learning opportunities in a reasonable amount of time, because you got to keep doing your day job. So maybe this month you're going to shadow me as I build the upgrade selling training program for the sales team. Let me show you how I put it together. And your learning opportunity, once you've observed that, is you're going to facilitate with me. That could be an example of a learning opportunity that you give to close the gap. I don't go into that into the connection meeting, but I do talk about where you want to go, so I have that context. We go into that in professional development strategies. If this video was valuable to you, here's what I'd suggest. Have a look at my online training for servant leadership. I train the 5 key behaviors. And more importantly, I give you the coaching document that goes with each of those as a resource moving forward. So in 5 one-hour videos, you'll learn about all of these steps, and you'll have in perpetuity a downloadable coaching form for each of those to be successful when you leave that training. So have a look if you want to learn more about servant leadership.